The most beautiful smiles on the earth are the smiles after serving mankind. These are the smiles of the Madhya Pradesh forest guards who have dedicated their lives to saving nature and mankind. But do we know the lives behind the smiles? Do we know how they work tirelessly, day and night, to protect the tiger and our forests and still smile? Do we know what they do every day? Every morning, Ramesh Kumar Katra and his team leave the safety of their anti-poaching camp into the thick Kana wilderness. Every day, they embark on a mission to ensure that nature remains protected. With more than 1,000 hectares of forest to monitor, the team has to be on the move every day. Each day in the hot sun, braving dangers, they cover about 20 kilometers on foot. They split on the way, expanding their coverage, traversing unfriendly terrain, checking for traps and unusual activity, and meeting again at the water holes. In summers, the water holes become very important. Since water becomes scarce, it needs to be preserved and managed. Any sort of clogging is harmful, and the guards check the water bodies and clean them to prevent clogging. They still employ the most natural cleaning techniques, sticks and hands. On the way back, he installs a camera trap to monitor the animal activity in the area. Foot patrolling is not without its dangers. Dharam Lal Yadav has served these forests since many years. Once, he was on a patrol duty along with his forest guard. They were walking along the banks of a river. They heard growls. It was a tiger, which had just killed a deer and was dragging it. Since they were on lower ground, they had not noticed the tiger on the riverbank above them and walked right into it. The tiger charged, and Dharam Lal stood brave in front of the tiger and the guard, trying to bluff to distract it. The tiger attacked him, and he lost consciousness. He fell down on the ground and does not remember what happened after that. But when he regained consciousness, he was in the hospital, and he sustained a lot of injuries. The scars have remained, reminding him the tiger left him alive, and is thankful to the forest guard who carried him and ran from there. But not all guards are as lucky as Dharam Lal Yadav. At the control center, Ranger Pathak is checking the camera trap images. All images are being monitored to check various species, new tigers, if any, and their movement across the range, and everything is matched with their records. Ranger Pathak and his team are on a fireline combing operation today. In summers, the temperatures reach about 50 degrees. Forest fires are one of the biggest challenges. The forest department has to maintain a strict vigil to prevent them and get into instant action to contain them in case they occur. Fire lines have been created and have been maintained since many years. Camps in areas like Pamini Dadar, at the edge of a high ridge, with the view of the entire range, serve as a first line of sight and alert for forest fires. The ground teams are always on constant vigil and scan mode. The guards set out, scanning every corner, checking for unusual activity, traps, snares, etc., looking for anything suspicious, negotiating a difficult terrain in the hot sun. Vehicle routes serve as natural fire lanes but need regular maintenance. According to their records, Pathak says that many fires have been set by notorious villagers, the ones that were prosecuted by the department for trespassing or illegal activity, and sometimes by some villagers with vested interest in the destruction of the habitat. They believe that by doing so, they would have avenged their arrest. Such villagers and poachers are always on the lookout, hoping the patrol team is not into their routine. But the forest guards have to become even more organized and increase their monitoring, sometimes changing their timings to catch the poachers off guard. Closer to the full moon night, poachers become very active as it becomes easier for them to move in the forest without torches. Monitoring needs to increase to keep them from entering the forest. It's pitch dark, and you can only see by beaming light from the torch. They meet at strategic points for regular updates and any course changes in the operation. They check animal hotspots, scanning for signs of traps and trespassers. Pathak believes that the source of sustenance for humans is water, and without forests, there would be no water. To save water, we need to save our forests, and all of us need to work towards that. Today, the patrol teams are on a special operation. They are searching for a big male tiger named T2. There were reports of a territorial fight between two big males near the buffer, and one of them, T2, being wounded. The beat guards had seen them fight from a distance, and then the tigers vanished into the bushes. The foot and the vehicle patrol teams have been on the lookout for him. A wounded tiger at the buffer zone increases chances of him getting closer to the villages for easy cattle, causing tension in the village also. Ranger Kranti Jariya and his patrol teams have not spotted T2 yet, and now the elephant patrol teams to get into action. Every morning, the mahouts and their teams dress the elephants, mount them, and get them ready for action. They head out into scanning the forest. In the summers, the leaves from the sal trees have all dried and fallen on the ground. The lantana is almost not there, providing great visibility for the mahouts. Following tracks and animal calls and coordinating with the other teams, they zero down the area where the tiger is resting. The SDO and the rangers also join the search. And finally, by noon, it's a sigh of relief for the team to see the tiger healthy and fine, eliminating all risks to itself and the nearby villagers. This is not a routine, but this check was critical to deploy preventive tactics in case the tiger is wounded. Back at the camp, work continues after the elephants leave. They have a busy day. Their mornings start with cleaning their beds and setting their rooms. The temperatures reach about 50 degrees during the day, and hence important to keep the place spacious and airy. Then they prepare the elephant's food, called the rotis. The roti dough is a mix of wheat flour, gram flour, and 250 grams of salt. After a good mix and the kneading ritual, the fresh dough is then taken in to make the balls. As one guard makes the dough balls, the others ready the baking pan called the tawa. The dough is given shape and carefully baked so that it remains fresh and soft. Each tawa can bake about 15 rotis at a time, and each day they make around 50 to 60 jumbo-sized rotis for a camp having 5 elephants. Once the entire round of 50 to 60 rotis for the day is done, then are left near the heat to rest. One of the guards starts cooking food for the camp inmates. The elephants come back from patrol and the stands, etc. is removed. Some mahouts have their families and they take some time out to bond with them and their children. In the evening, the elephants head to the river for a cleanup. The elephants definitely enjoy this time in this peak summer, and so do the mahouts. As the sun sets in the river, the silhouette makes them look like a team and the bonds between them get stronger. The clean black elephants then head back to the camp for their feeding. The rotis are fed along with a piece of jaggery. The elephants can forage freely in the forest, but the rotis signify the bond between them and reinforces the elephants' relationship with the mahouts and the camp. The mahouts have a lot of stories to tell. They have seen the seasons change, seen the tigers since their birth, and have seen them grow. They have stories which are touching, some of them very shocking, very difficult for us to hear and accept. Dayal Singh Maravi has one such story. Maravi has been on a mahout for over 20 years. He recalls a very shocking incident. Once he took his children on the elephant to show them a tiger. They spotted a tigress with its sub-adult cubs. The tigress's cubs got curious seeing the children on the elephant and started moving around, coming close to the elephant. This made Maravi alert, and he focused more on the tigress. But the elephant got a bit uncomfortable, and it made a sudden movement. It caused one of the children to lose balance and fall off the elephant. The child fell right in front of the tigress, and he could see the tigress take away his child right in front of him. He was helpless. No amount of shouting could help him or distract the tiger. The child died immediately. The tigers did not eat the child's body, but were sitting close. The other mahouts and elephants joined him and moved the tigers away to recover the child's body. It was a great loss for him. This incident changed his life, but he has moved on. Despite all of this, he loves the forests and wants his children to serve the forest and preserve nature so that we continue to get fresh water and air. One of the most successful conservation programs in the world, but less known, is the Barasingha Conservation Program in the Kanha Tiger Reserve. By the early 70s, there were only 66 hard-ground Barasinghas in Kanha National Park. They were critically endangered, and the administration has worked day and night over the last 3 decades to save the species. Villages of Samph and Randa, which were inside the park, were relocated and anti-poaching camps set up. The hard-ground Barasingha is a delicate species, and unlike the resilient Chidal and Sambar, the habitat is critical for its survival. Unlike the Chidal fawn, which starts walking within 1 to 2 hours of birth, the Barasingha fawn takes about a week and is dependent on the mother, making it vulnerable to predators. Hence, the Barasingha is heavily dependent on grass for both food as well as cover. It is a grazing species, and unlike browsers, it prefers only a special type of grass. Grassland management becomes very critical, and they continuously inspect grasslands and manage them to control movement of the Barasingha. Enclosures were made with a male and female to grow the populations, and as the species grew, they were released into other areas of the park. To preserve the gene pool, over the years, they have spread the Barasinghas all over the park and even to other national parks in Madhya Pradesh. The Kanha Tiger Reserve has a healthy population of over 700 hard-ground Barasingha today. The Samph camp is one of the forerunners of this project, as this area is pure Barasingha habitat and the last remaining Barasinghas were here. A.K. Jaria is a forest guard in the Samph camp and has been an integral part of the Barasingha Conservation Project. This camp has a dedicated workforce which monitors Barasinghas daily. As per their beats, there is a daily counting and reporting of Barasinghas. If a Barasingha is killed, it's immediately reported. In summers, water becomes critical for the Barasingha, and the guards build temporary dams to hold the water, which helps sustenance of hydra, a special type of grass fed upon by Barasinghas. This conservation project also had its tragic moments. Chandan Bakad, a forest guard, and his team were deployed and entrusted with this task in the Samph camp in the early years of the program. One morning, Chandan and his patrol team spotted poachers. A chase ensued, and the poachers fled, leaving their equipment. But unfortunately, the armed poachers returned the same night and attacked the camp under the cover of darkness. Chandan Bakad and his team put up a fight, but was killed by the poachers. Since then, as a mark of respect and remembrance, the camp area is officially called Chandan's Circle, dedicated to the efforts of Chandan Bakad and his sacrifice. For the forest guards, all their actions and responsibilities are now just toward animals. They care for the villagers in the buffer area as well. Ranger Raju Rajput is a man on a mission. He has been working with the villagers to create awareness amongst them about surviving with the tiger and protecting its habitat. It's a Friday. He and his team have scheduled a baithak. These are regular meetings with the local villagers for conducting awareness programs in schools and community centers. They raise awareness about habitat conservation and the importance of tigers, setting up primary response teams made up of local community volunteers. At these awareness meets, discussions are also on human-animal conflict and how to tackle such situations, compensation for losses to lives and cattle, and how to reach out to the rapid response team and the professional veterinarian to address any casualties. Timely compensation to villagers for cattle kills is very important for the MPF. Response to such situations is critical to prevent revenge killing. Signature campaigns drive accountability from the villagers, in return providing support and solar lights to the villages in the buffer zones. He also meets other villagers who have not attended the baithak. At the same time, checking on the water bodies and the cattle grazing habits of the village. Back in the forest, Ranger Rajput has a bigger challenge in his range. His team at the Chindimatha camp have been working at a very daunting task for the last 2 decades. The camp is on the banks of the Pench River, rich in fish, leading to a lot of illegal fishing. It's a very strategic location, highly sensitive. The team has been relentlessly working over the last few years on this anti-fishing drive and have successfully managed to prevent poaching and fishing. The entire team starts in the morning, ready to spend long hours in the river, checking all the banks, every corner, the deeper ends, and removing all the nets laid by the poaching boats. With every successful patrol, the dangers only increase for the team as the poachers divert their attacks on the camp. Due to the rich concentration of fish, the illegal boats deploy guerrilla tactics, making intermittent fishing operations and sometimes planting fishing nets. They sometimes come in groups and come armed with guns, bombs, grenades, and pebbles. As soon as they see the MPF boats, they start hurling these bombs and pebbles. The success lies in preventing them from entering the waters and starting their operations. For this, the team has to be on constant vigil. There have been attacks by the poachers directly at the camps during night. Patrolling schedules are fixed by the team, and each day they start on their routine. On critical days upon their return, the ranger joins them to take an update. They get back to camp to discuss sensitivities and the plan for the next few days and the resources they would need. Ravinder Meshram has been in this camp since many years and has seen a lot of action. On one regular patrolling day, Meshram and his team spotted illegal boats and started their standard procedures of reporting them to the authorities and removal of the boats. Despite warnings, the poachers continued and attacked the guards, causing serious injuries to Meshram and his team. The force was called in and the poachers were arrested and prosecuted. Despite all this, the guards continue their vigil every day, sometimes increasing it to create an element of surprise for the poachers, and this has been the formula for their success. Meanwhile, in Pench Tiger Reserve, forest guard Nankishore Yuki and his team have traveled the last 16 kilometers in the hot sun through the thorny bushes and dry landscape. An important water hole is ahead, which is checked almost every 2 days. As this is the only water hole in the area, a lot of animals take refuge when the sun is at its peak. Hence, this also is an easy spot for poachers to target animals. This pond is artificially fed from the water from the Pench River and will get its water refilled today, once Nankishore and his team check it for unusual activity. The tanker arrives shortly, bringing water from the Pench River, and gives the pond a fresh breath of air as well. A lot of work and effort goes on every single day in the Madhya Pradesh forests. The guards work tirelessly, day and night. in extreme conditions to ensure the safety of our wildlife. They are silent guardians of nature, standing guard day and night, patrolling the length and breadth of the forest, walking many miles, monitoring camera traps, water holes, recording and reporting, monitoring human interference, mitigating conflict. All this while they walk for 25 kilometers each day with a stick or an axe in hand. Devoid of human contact, entertainment, and motivation, they brave many hardships and make history each day. But we never know of it. Most of it remains unheard of. These guards continue to surprise us. Surprise us with their rigor, dedication, and their smiles. They don't want to give up on nature. In short, they protect what we are destroying the most. They only know how to smile. They smile at our ignorance and us. They smile at our relentless pursuit for destruction. These are the brave and hard-working Madhya Pradesh forest guards.